Well, it's been a while. Welcome back to the Old Bull and Young Calf Boston Sports Podcast. We've had a summer. It's been a rough summer, but we definitely have had a summer in the sports world in Boston. But the light is at the end of the tunnel. We actually had some substance of actual sports, Dad, and I'm so excited. How do you feel now that we have progressed past the first day of training camp?
So some of you
How
might
does it
be
feel to be
wondering,
back?
why does the old bull? Yeah, it is. Why does the old bull look extra ugly today? Because I got myself a 4K camera. All right, so kind of some sharp close-ups of the old bull, and I also got myself a speaker. Hopefully, I don't sound like in a closet in the other room like I used to, and I sound better. But yeah, Matt. I mean, it just felt like this day would never get here. It's almost like waiting for the draft. Remember, like that three
Yeah.
months was just absolutely brutal. Finally here. Camp doesn't technically start until Monday when they put the pads on and they get hit, but we're not going to look at it that way. There was a lot of good stuff that came out of today's session. But we're also going to there's 10 projected starters, new starters from free agency. We're going to rank them in order of importance after our little training camp rundown. And we're also going to give a grade for every draft pick the Patriots made because we never did that. We had a big draft show for the first round, with Will Campbell, and we're hoping they trade back up. So, but we never touched on the draft picks after that. So we're also going to give a grade, and the old Bulls got a couple lefts in there. So stay tuned for that. But training camp, Matt, I don't know. I loved a lot of what came out of the media today. So, and we're also going to give you what we were most excited about from what we heard today and what we're least excited about.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's good to be back. Haven't really had much to talk about. I've suppressed a lot of my feelings. We won't get into too much about our sports teams, but here we are. And I think this is you know kind of my first love. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the Celtics might have been my first love, but the Patriots and Celtics are kind of battling for it. And we haven't done this podcast for a truly successful or even remotely successful Patriots team. So I would love for this to be the start of something new. How do you? I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, we got Jeff. Hey guys, glad you're
Yeah,
back, Jeff. Jeff, I'm really glad to see you too. I'm really sorry, Jeff, that this is like the worst possible content for you. I know, actually, I don't know if the Red Sox would be worse because I know you're a big Jays fan as well. I missed the show. You really haven't missed much. Oh wait, you've missed the show being on. And Jeff, we missed talking to you. We do have a Facebook chat with Jeff now. Definitely close friends outside of just this podcast. But I'm really sorry, Jeff, that we are now in the Patriots world. But I would love
we
to
missed you,
have.
Jeff.
Yeah, we did miss you. I would love to have
I've
this
missed I've
podcast.
missed your
Go ahead.
I've missed your Musk. I think after this show we should get an apartment together.
Yeah.
Don't make the man reference there.
Anchorman. Yeah. We used to have a Step Brothers reference on every single episode back when I was editing. That was
Back
tough.
in the
But the
day.
old bull
Yeah.
carried injecting that into it. And I, of course, had to try and slip and clip and do all that stuff. But here we are. We've tried. We've started the live shows before and after last year, and then we just kept getting kicked in the face, kicked in the face, kicked in the face. And we're gonna do it again this year. Kind of going to have to touch the stove. Hopefully, it's not as hot this time. Dad, what's your apprehension going into this year's kind of off season, or I'm sorry, training camp, right? Because every training camp it gets so exciting. One training camp, you actually bought a Mac Jones jersey, right? So, where are you at in the hesitancy to get all in on this Patriots fan? Like 1 to 10, like 10 being I'm super hesitant. I do not want to look like a fool. One being I am all in. Put egg on my face if this team sucks again. I don't care.
I'm a 2. The only way I would be a
Wow.
number 1 if we're talking Tom Brady years where every year we felt we had a legit shot at a Super Bowl. But I think we're getting back to the playoffs. Like there are some people, a lot of people that they're kind of the Patriots are everyone's um, what do they call it? Crowning, pick this year to make the playoffs, and they're everyone's darling, right? That wants to take these
Yes.
guys to the ball. I'm completely on board with it. I think besides the obvious, which is injuries, the only thing that's stopping them is the fact that there's so much turnover, so many new starters that they just can't gel enough in the first year. But with a major upgrade with coaching, the major upgrade in talent, and people saying, no, their roster is still not great. I disagree. I think their roster is really good now. Does it have a lot of depth? Not necessarily, but their projected starting lineup, with the exception of the O line, I think it's excellent all around. So I'm
Much
excited. I
better
think they're
bones
going to be
this year.
back in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, much
What's
better
that?
bones this year. Much better foundation
Yes.
than the last couple of years. Jamie, I wanted to hibernate from draft till now. 100% Jamie. We had like some Bruin stuff in there. Kind of rolled over in our grave in our hibernation a couple times during this Bruins postseason or off season. But here we are, Jamie. Jamie, I'm sure you've kept up with the headlines for the training camp. Please don't hesitate. Just toss them in the chat, whatever you want. 9 wins should be the over under, but I think whatever they should be doing, they should push for a playoff spot. The old Bull's put his money where his mouth is. He's.
Floor.
Do you want to tell him about the bet you've placed, even I think before Stephon Diggs was signed, right, Dad?
Yes. So I actually had 8-1 odds. I laid $100 down for the Patriots to win the division. That would get me $800 if they pull that off. I just loved what Vrabel was doing, the direction they're going. They had the good free agency and the good draft, and they hadn't gotten Diggs yet. But my feeling was, I like what they're doing. They have a garbage schedule with a lot of easy opponents, and Buffalo. I'm not wishing this is on Josh Allen, but I feel like, is that guy not due for an injury? He runs around like a crazy person,
Yeah.
just literally running his hardest into defensive linemen. At some point, that dude's going to get an injury. I'm not
He's
wishing it
29
on him.
too.
And if that happens, that dude finally gets injured and is out for like half a year or the rest of the season, that Patriots are going to take that division.
I'm putting a few bucks on all the overs. Jamie, yeah, and if you've been watching the lines, it's risen as this team has transformed, as it has gotten this foundation that we're talking about that's much different from previous years. And Jamie, I'm not too sure if you saw Mike Vrabel, and Dad, you as well. I'm curious how you feel about the interaction he had with Ben Volen. It's all over the place. Ben Volen asked the same question that was already asked in the in the press conference. And that is a throwback to Bill Belichick. We have not had that level of intensity in the press conference room whatsoever. How did you feel about that? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Where are you at with that?
I think it was more Bill Parcells, but that was kind of before your time. Vrabel's a ball buster, and he knows Volen well, and Volen didn't take it personal and all that. It's gonna have sound bites from Vrabel are gonna be fun this year. He's a serious guy, but he's also got a sense of humor to him. And I like that. He's so intense about everything when it comes, whether it's his coaching, the players on the field, or even the media dealing with them. He takes everything seriously, but he still has a bit of a sense of humor. So, hey, Boland, I'm sure, took it in stride, and he got plenty of chuckles all around, and so he has a pretty good rapport with the media.
Yes. No, so getting back to this team, right? That was one of the headlines that came out, was that interaction. You've heard a lot of stuff about Drake May. Yep, Volen likes to make crap up anyway. That's why he doesn't listen, but that was great. And actually, Dad, I know you said like him and Volen are cool, but Ben Volen is like kind of universally disliked on a lot of Patriot forums. And I think it's for something that Jamie's alluding to, because he does make some stuff up sometimes. So, I don't think you'd ever see Vrabel talking to Mike Reese like that, but Mike Reese would probably be on his toes and actually be paying attention during a press conference. So now I guess we can talk about a few things. And one of the things I'll bring up is at least this common trope with Patriots training camp is the wide receiver love affair. Every single year, there's a wide receiver that kind of jumps off the reports, jumps off of Twitter and gets in our face. And it's like, this is the guy. This is the guy. Kyle Williams is, I think, following that trope. Like, how about your apprehension towards that, Dad? Right? As the team, you're at a 2 for the buy-in What are you at on that same scale of 10, afraid to buy in, 1, you're all in on this new wide receiver love affair we have with Kyle Williams after the first day?
Just from the fact he's a rookie, it's not as high currently as it will be, but Kyle Williams has potential Tyreek Hill ability. I mean, he's that fast, he's that shifty, he's a handful to cover. Now, you can't there's no substitute for experience, right?
No,
And
yeah,
he doesn't have that yet as a rookie, knowing how to get open. That's how, like, guys Larry Fitzgerald, when he got older, he wasn't as fast. He was a big receiver. He wasn't, but because he had that
what's up,
veteran
Jeff?
savvy, he still knew how to get open. And even though he lost a step, Kyle Williams, if it wasn't for the fact that he was just so, you know, new and a rookie, I I mean, from what I heard today, he beat Christian Gonzalez twice. So I mean, that's pretty damn impressive because he's a top 5 corner in the league already.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the big. So, what's up, Jeff? It's good to see you. I think one of the big differences with Kyle Williams is he's kind of coming from a bit bigger of a school than some of the guys that we've seen before, right? So, Washington State had a pretty high-powered offense last year, right? Um, they've been pretty effective. I know, like Tyquan Thornton. I guess he was in Oregon, so I'm trying to convince myself that Kyle Williams is going to be different, but I'm having a hard time. I guess he's supposed to be a better route runner than Tyquan Thornton. I don't know if you saw, but Tyquan Thornton is all the headlines in Kansas City camp. He's actually been talked about a few times for some of his deep catches, so that's going to be interesting. Hey, we talked about him at the draft time, and there's no reason he can't ball. And I'm ride or die with Polk. I think he's good, but he got shafted with crap coaches. Jamie, what do you think about him not showing up today? I mean, a shoulder injury. I know that's super tough, but not suiting up for the day one of training camp when you were 100%, I think, on the chopping block, especially since he's not from Vrabel's draft. I feel like transitioning in coaches, you're a lot more likely to get cut even after your second year. What do you make of him not showing up? Dad, how do you feel about him not showing up?
So Jamie and we disagree with very little. He's like one of our Patriots draft expert. I disagree with him on Polk. That's the one thing that him and I butt heads on. I think Polk, if he's not gone, I don't see him making this team. I just don't. He's not. He had a historically bad rookie year for someone who had as many snaps as he did, and here we are. He was at OTAs. He wasn't a participant on the field in team drills, but he was off to the side working. And the first day of camp, he's not off to the side working. I don't know what the hell's going on there. That guy, the last thing he can afford to do is miss 1 second of practice time. Because I just think, I mean, is he? I mean, who would you rather have, Matt, Jamie? You're gonna make one. You're gonna get rid of one and keep one. Polk or Booty after
Yeah,
last year.
got to keep Booty. You have to. I think so.
Okay. You have to keep 1 second. You have to keep one. Polk or let's say Chisholm has that typical
Chisholm is the
preseason.
curveball. Yeah.
That typical preseason that Patriot slot receivers tend to have where they blow up during the preseason. Let's say it's the end of training camp, and now you have to choose between Polk and Chisholm. Who are you gonna take? You gonna
That's
take
a tough
Chisholm?
one.
I would take. I don't know. I take Chisholm. Now you're talking like 7 wide receivers. You know that, Matt, because
Yeah.
they keep Bourne, Douglas, all those guys, Williams, Diggs, Hollins, that new Hollins, and Chisholm, Booty. Like, there's no room for Polk. I just think he's got such an uphill. Baker's gone, as far as I'm concerned. They might as well cut that dude now. But
Yeah.
Polk, oh man, is he got an uphill climb, Jamie?
Yeah. I feel like you have to start seeing his name in here somewhere, right? Especially after what they did with Tyquan Thornton, right? Unless they're holding him back. Yeah, maybe they want to put him in the pup list. I don't know what the rules are around the pup, right? If he does jump in the training camp, can he just keep practicing and then they put him on a later point? So I guess we'll have to see about
I
that.
love that.
So So
Yeah.
let's talk about training camp specifically. Let's talk about today, the people who were there. And one of the things my dad talked about at the start of this was we're going to share our biggest, you know, hype, enjoyment, excitement, biggest takeaway that we liked out of training camp today, and then our biggest dislike, right? So, um, Dad, why don't you lead us off with your biggest like about training camp, and then I'll go first for the dislike. How about that? What news jumped off the
So
screen for you?
so it was tough to find video, right? It's mostly fan videos, and you got to go by reports by media. What I loved is Drake May was under duress for almost every throw. Obviously, they can't hit him, but the bottom line is he had people bearing down on him, stopping at the last second, and he was still just throwing BBs. He
Dimes, yep.
completed, I think it was 8 of 9 passes, a lot of them down the field, difficult, and from what I told, he was in complete command of the offense. He got them in and out of the huddle quick. They were all on the same page, but the fact that May didn't still have a clean pocket and he is just threading the needle already, that's a great sign. And he's already come a long way when I hear that from the start he had with Josh McDaniel's system. Back in voluntary OTAs, he had a rough day. He had 4 interceptions. He was late on everything. The fact that training camp just started day 1 and May is already picking up Josh McDaniel's system this quick, where he can, under pressure, thread the needle down the field, is very encouraging.
Yeah, no, I absolutely like I like that as well. And I think they talked about how he almost had an interception, but that interception I think they're chalking up as a sack. And we got Jeff in here. Booty over poke. The Chisholm one is tough. I think that you hurt your argument. I think with Chisholm, it's really hard. Hey, we got some inside news that I'm going to post in the chat. We're not going to share just for the sake of risk of like getting banned or something like that. But I found on Twitter today 2 of the catches everyone's talking about. One of them is Drake May's throw to Kyle Williams on the outside with Gonzalez guarding him. And the other one is Drake May to Booty. Both of them, Drake May is under a lot of pressure. Both of them, my dad and I were watching. It probably would have ended up a sack in a real game. The new tight end, I think his name is Westover, blew a block completely on a blitzing safety or nickel cornerback from the side. But you do see, like my dad said, that poise, that thing that my dad was looking for as they're bearing down on him.
Yeah. And Big Jeff Tasca, Chisholm again. If we're talking about today, you're right. That's a tough call. I'm talking if you have to envision Chisholm has one of those preseasons where every game he's got like 8 catches, a touchdown. It's against third stringers, second half. But you know how they just, whether it was Carr one year or who was the other guys that the Patriots had that went to the Jets? If he has that type of preseason in preseason games, I'm still taking my chances with the new Chisholm guy over Polk after what I saw last year. Jamie Mandela has a legitimate point. The coaching was trash, but oh my God, how bad could it be? Like for him to have all those drops, all those
Yeah, the
no
drops
shows,
drops are not coaching.
running the wrong routes, like
Listen, let's
exactly.
focus
I
on
mean,
who's
he was
here.
just
Let's focus
dreadful.
on who's here, right?
Yeah, sorry.
And
Yeah.
that is definitely a positive. Okay, so my positive I think is probably like the candy from a baby is Stephon Diggs, right? Everyone was hoping for chemistry right out of the gate, right? Jacoby Myers 2.0, right? Jacoby Myers is a great example, Jeff. I think you just made my dad's case for him. Jacoby Myers is that, I don't even, he was undrafted, right?
Undrafted, just like
I
Chisholm.
mean,
Absolutely.
how much better does this team look going into the year with Jacoby Myers, Stephon Diggs, Booty, and Kyle Williams as your top 4 wide receiver, or Pop Douglas? I forgot Pop Douglas. Those 5 guys as your top 5 wide, much better. It sucks we don't have Jacoby Myers right now. Pop, Diggs, Williams, Chris Holm, locks. Jamie really likes Chris Grissom. I mean, we'll see. But again, he has to start appearing in tweets, right? And this is the bummer about not being there. We're not seeing who he's out there with. It's just like in the preseason when you see guys out there in the fourth quarter. If Grissom's only out there when the third string quarterback's out there, then that's not a really good thing. So my biggest excitement out of this camp, and the thing I like the most, is that it started off first completion to Stephon Diggs, right? Setting the tone. He's the guy. He's the number one guy. I want him demanding the ball. I want him going crazy. I want him, trying to just feed Stephon Diggs. And I think that is huge. It's just a weapon that Drake May has never had in his entire life, right? Even in North Carolina, he has not had a guy remotely close to Stephon Diggs. I could see us carrying six, one on the pup, one on the practice squad. Yeah, I mean, Grissom might end up on the practice squad too. That's one of the things about these guys who do not really, are not drafted, right? There's a good chance they could end up on a practice squad. I don't know how that would affect his contract, because I know we kind of give him a bigger one. But no, Stephon Diggs, super excited about him. Who do you think, Dad? When's the last time you think we had a wide receiver that is good as Stephon Diggs on this team? How far back do you think you'd have to go?
I mean, it's Edelman. Edelman was the last one that has that close to, and Edelman was a different type of receiver. He was a slot guy. He wasn't an outside guy like Diggs. But if you're talking about talent and production, Edelman's the last guy that we have on that. And and just to bring up real quick, Pop Douglas, I am incredibly high on. I actually think he can put up better numbers than Diggs this year. I think that guy is super talented physically, and this is his third year coming up, I believe, and that is the year where wide receivers generally pop. So keep an eye on Pop Douglas, no pun intended. I think he could be the number one receiver by the end of the year. But yeah, Big Jeff, Kobe Myers 2.0, Chisholm, I can see all of that. I you know I hate to give up on. Again, we're not going to talk about him because he's not here, but we have to turn this wide receiver room around. We just have to. And first throw of the training camp today, right to Diggs. Great start. And every time you hear a reporter down there talk about Diggs, they say one thing: he just looks different than the other guys. He just moves quicker. I've heard a couple say that he looks like Pop Douglas as far as ability goes, but otherwise he looks completely different than every other receiver on that field. They also got Kendrick Bourne. They also got Hollins.
Oh, I totally forgot Kendrick Bourne.
Either one of them. Yeah, either one of them. I mean, that's what I mean. You can't. I mean,
it's loaded with number 3 wide receivers.
7 wide receivers.
Yeah,
exactly. And 3 to 5 wide receivers. Yeah.
So you and I both said the whole, first target, first completion was to Stephon Diggs. So that was period 1. In period 2, because they had the breakups, period 2, first target, first completion, Stephon Diggs, right? So all exciting stuff. If I play fantasy football this year, maybe Stephon Diggs might be a high pick for me, right? If that kind of stays true, I think we now we have to kind of shift into the Felger and Maz part of this, where we talk about the negatives, the downside, and I hate to be negative on a day that has been somewhat good, but I think we're gonna have to jump into this, and I think the thing on everybody's mind is the offensive line. There's a ton of caveat to this, being that there's no pads on. Speed rushers win when there's no pads on. But there were a few anecdotes out of camp from Twitter that are not super alarming, but definitely a little scary. Real quick, let's talk about what Jamie said. It would be a nightmare to cover Pop Douglas and Grissom, both on 30 and 5, breaking ankles. We'll see.
Double slots, that would be pretty good. Chisholm on one side, Pop Douglas on the other in the slot. Like a 4 wide receiver set with one running back in the backfield. That would be pretty interesting to watch. Absolutely, Jamie.
No, Drake May, I think, is 100% healthy. I haven't heard anything about him being unhealthy, so hopefully that stays the way. Jeff, I don't know why you're putting bad juju out here.
What is Jeff doing? Jeff, shame on you. Don't ever put it. Yes, knock on wood. Knocking on all the wood. He is healthy. Absolutely.
So the offensive line. So offensive line. That's 4 quote unquote sacks today. 1 team sack where Drake May bailed out of the pocket. you really can't say that it wouldn't have been a sack. It's kind of, goofy play. Keon White got a sack. One of their new rookies that they just drafted got a sack. I forget his name. And then somebody else got a sack. Oh, Brandon Swinson was the rookie I was talking about. Offensive line did not look great out there. Of course, there's no pads. There's really not much to grab onto. You're not trying to be too physical. Swing moves, spin moves, that kind of wins the day. Morgan Moses at one point, Jeff Unknown, delete that comment. Yeah, I know, right? He got pulled. That's from Greg Bedard on 98.5. He was on with Felger and Maz, but he did make a note that it could have been a load management thing. And I don't think they're going to get too much from this no pad practice. So offensive line, I did link 2 videos in the YouTube chat and on Facebook. If they're both linked to X, feel free to click on those. And you'll see that both of those passes everybody's talking about today to Kyle Williams and to Booty, Drake May was going to get sacked. In a real game, if everything was equal, both our defense pulled up and did not hit our quarterback, as they would, of course, not do in training camp. So got to consider that when you see these big plays and see these headlines, seeing the defensive breakdown. So that was a bit concerning to me, Dad. That was my my concern coming out of camp or reports.
You stole my thunder, but again, like you said, with the caveats, there's no pads on. A lot of these offensive linemen tackles, they love to drive into the guy and then grab their chest
pads
on the inside and hold them. They can't do any of that. They can't. Everything is keeping people at bay with your hands, and defensive linemen just have a huge advantage when it comes to that. So I'm not necessarily worried about it. What I'm worried about with Morgan Moses is I just hope he's not in this is my last payday mode. I've already cashed in. I'm going to be a good mentor and I'm going to be coaching players, but I'm going to a losing team and not taking it because I tell you that Forge in Foxborough episode 2, and don't get me wrong, offensive linemen need to have fat on them. You're supposed to be big, bulky, even borderline fat. Morgan Moses had his shirt off on that special, and holy cow, is he a cow? It is. So I'm hoping he's taking this seriously and he's legitimately out here to win. I'm not going to put any down stock on him for today. No pads. Maybe it's load management, like you said. But I tell you what, when the pads come on, we get into camp and guys are whizzing by him like they were today.
Joint practices, things like that.
Because let me tell you, he does not look like he's in good shape at all, period. But you stole my thunder, Matt. That's what I was going to go with offensive line.
Really quick.
So my negative for today.
Let's touch on these 2 guys, right? I'm excited to see Terrell Williams does for the Pats. Sad to see him leave Detroit, but he'll be great in New England. Yeah, and talking about being unhealthy, Terrell Williams was dealing with something. I don't know if that's even over yet. Heavier guy in his 50s, I think. Hopefully it wasn't some sort of a heart issue. If it was, hopefully he's on the other side of it and he's back with us permanently. But I mean, I was super nervous going into the regular season or going into training camp without our defensive coordinator on site. So it's definitely good to see him back. And Jeff, hopefully he does have an impact. How do you feel about Terrell Williams, Dad?
I mean, we'll see. He's never called plays before, but from what I understand, he is an elite coach when it comes to teaching technique on the defensive line, and he's got a ton of experience. So, hopefully he has a knack for calling plays. We'll have to see, so I don't have a problem with that hire. And then Jamie, for now, being in the right place and making catches when there, I'll take it for now. Yep. Nope. Absolutely. Like I said, that was my big positive. My big positive takeaway earlier was Drake May was threading the needle, despite having pass rushes all around him. So my negative is, let's see. I'm going to have to go with Christian Gonzalez. And Christian Gonzalez gave up 2 catches to a rookie. And just to go, I put my money on Christian Gonzalez. I'm going to sound like a gambling degenerate. I swear, people,
I know,
this is the only 2 future bets I have. I put $10 on Christian Gonzalez to win Defensive Player of the Year. It will get me like $550. I do these $5 bets, and they just accumulated. And that's all I do. I don't have a bet more than $5. So I'm not some degenerate gambler. Trust me on that one. But $10 I put on Christian Gonzalez to win me $550. He wins Defensive Player of the Year. Because I mean, everything you hear is super. I mean, positive. And today he got beat by a rookie twice. So hopefully that's not a trend going forward.
Yep. O-line will be better this year. Still a work in progress. You're right, Jeff. It's better than
It
it
can't
was
be
last
worse.
year. Better than it was last
Yep.
year. I'm really excited to see Campbell and everybody. From what I heard, the tempo was good. Last year, everyone was standing around a lot. Yeah, Jamie, heard that too. Heard there was a lot of loud music and a lot of standing around. The one good thing about Vrabel is that he knows how to run a training camp. It seems like Mayo is still trying to get used to it. And again, this is stuff that Mayo should have learned as an assistant coach, a defensive coordinator, etc. Not whatever the heck he was here during Bill Belichick's time. So I'm glad we have that structure, Jamie.
Matt, you want to do our free agent starter rankings first, or the grades for the draft picks first? Which one you want?
We'll do the free agent starter, free agent ranking, them in order of importance. All right.
Start with number 10. Go down the list.
Number 10, so the least important?
Start with the least important. So we project is going to be 10 new starters that we signed in free agency. We're going to give them, and chime in here, people, if we're crazy or not. So number 10, Matt, you want me to go first, or who do you got?
Yeah. Listen, how about this? I mean, I have my list, but again, everyone likes the old bull. Everybody likes his opinions. Let's get the old bull's opinion, see if I could shake him on any, see if we disagree. We have not compared our lists. So, all right, Dad, number 10, what do you got?
Then I have Matt Collins, the wide receiver they picked up. And it's not because we have such a great wide receiver core, because we could use a wide receiver with size. But the bottom line is he's one of those guys that he makes a big catch a game, and that's it. You're never going to get more than like 2-3 catches out of that guy, but he's pretty clutch. He had a lot of clutch catches for Buffalo, but he's not a regular wide receiver that you're going to line up and he's going to be getting 7 catches one game, 9 one game. And I think we have at least enough wide receivers where if we didn't have Matt Collins, I think we'd be fine. He might be the difference in winning a game in the regular season or a big first down, a few first downs, but otherwise I don't think his impact compared to the other free agent starters is significant. So who do you have, Matt?
So okay. I think you're not like giving Matt Collins like enough credit here. Especially since there's like I think at least one like special teams guy on this list. Matt Collins he led the Buffalo Bills, I think, in touchdowns last year, in receiving touchdowns. If not, he was like super close to it. He had 5 touchdowns. He's 6'4", 221, and he's a gamer, right? He had his best season under Josh McDaniels and the Raiders. So I think he might bring like almost a tight end, a skill tight end. And I hate to say this because it's also bad juju, like an Aaron Hernandez type game to this Patriots team. I know.
What?
Aaron Hernandez.
He is not as talented. He's not as talented.
Hernandez. He's not as talented.
Hernandez was Kelsey. That's who Hernandez. Kelsey, who was a better runner after the catch. That's who Hernandez was talent-wise.
I just mean that skill set.
Psycho.
I feel like that grinder in the red zone, scoring, willing to run the ball, big body, 6'4". He made it happen in Buffalo. Drake Mays is similar to what's it called? A Josh Allen. I think that's one of the good comparables. So I don't know. Maybe you can make it work.
I feel like I'm getting too much pushback on this, but
I'm the 10th guy.
I hear your point. Who's your number 10?
My number 10. I think it's the Tonga guy. I mean, it's just like another throw-in, like big body guy. Half a sack in his entire career. Like, I mean, if this guy doesn't work, you can go down to Disney World and get one of those people walking around there, because there's about 1 million guys his size walking around. It's like, I don't know. I'm not super big on Tonga. I think he's just kind of that plug and play skill set that you can just get throughout the league. The Patriots need an updated jersey like the Bruins, and all the problems will be solved. We've had a few good jerseys, Jeff. We have had a few good jerseys, and it would be nice. That's for sure. So, who's your number? What do you think about that, Dad? Or what's your number 9?
Tonga at number 10 is a terrible pick.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why, because where I have him ranked, I'll touch on that. But you are entitled to your opinion. All right, I'll leave it at that. Number 9 for me is Garrett Bradbury. And the only reason why is because I don't think he makes it through the year as a starter. I think Jared Wilson is going to take. I think as soon as they are comfortable that Jared Wilson is ready to step in, the guy they drafted in the 3rd round, Bradbury is out. This guy is not good. If he wasn't the worst rated pass blocker in center last year by PFF, he was close. He's a decent run blocker, average, not good, not great, average. And I would have personally rather have David Andrews back over this guy, but I get it. Vrabel wanted the fresh start, fresh leaders amongst the team. Garrett Bradbury, I'm convinced he is not going to make it. I'm hoping he's cut, to be honest with you, because that would mean Jared Wilson took the job, grabbed him by the throat, smacked him, threw him to the side, and took that starting center job, which I'm anticipating will happen this year. So he's my number 9.
Okay. Yeah, and honestly, Bradbury should have probably been my number 10 because I think Bradbury most likely doesn't make this team. But, a veteran center coming in with a guy like Jared Wilson that you've mentioned, and Jared Wilson being a bit more raw, but still a very highly rated center, I think might benefit from Bradbury a bit more than Tonga will, because Tonga is just a really big dude who's okay at run defense. So that's why I think maybe Tonga 9. No, I'm sticking with it. Tonga 10, Bradbury 9. That's what I'm going to do with that.
Yeah. So Jamie agrees with me. Thinks Jared Wilson will be starting before midseason. Thank you, Jamie. And Big Jeff, real quick, Tasca. Yep, Parcells. He's definitely more. He's more Parcells than he is Belichick. That's for sure. And Gonzalez, hey, hopefully he turns around. He shuts everyone down for at least the rest of the week after. Because you're right, he's going to hear about getting beat by a rookie 2 times. So anyway, my number
training camp king. Yeah. You're right, Jeff. I forgot about him. My bad. Wait, is he still in the Patriots?
That is true.
He is still in the Patriots.
He is.
There you go, Jeff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So my number 8 guy is Chasen, right? He could be like a Josh Uche, basically. Could get anywhere between 4 sacks and close to double-digit sacks. He popped at the end of the year last year. I think I read that he had like 5 sacks in the last half of the season last year. So I don't know if that's circumstances or something clicked with him, but he could be an effective 3rd down package pass rusher, in the kind of the Josh Uche mode. So he's my number 8 guy.
Yeah, he had I think he had all 4 sacks in the last 6 games, 1 against New Orleans, 1 against Jacksonville, one against Tampa, half against Tampa, and then 1.5 against Kansas City. So, a couple of those are kind of junk teams. So he's going to be my number 8 as well. I think again, very similar to Tonga. Like these guys, I feel like they just kind of grow on trees. Like super athletic guys. They could play special teams. They could come in on 3rd down. Like I don't know. It's they're a dime a dozen in my opinion.
All right. Let's see. Number 7 for me, Robert Spillane.
Wow. The Tonga love affair.
Should be a little. Oh yeah, don't you worry about it. I'll get to Tonga when I get to him. Spillane, linebacker is kind of like it's just not as important as it used to be in the NFL. You need your linebackers to be better in pass coverage than you do run stuffing. That's just the new NFL. And Spillane, he is still a little bit more of an old school run stuffer. His pass coverage grades are not good. So be prepared for some frustration there. He gets lined up one-on-one with a running back or a tight end. that dude's probably going to beat him. But, I still liked a lot of his tape. I've seen him, with the Raiders, and I like him as a middle linebacker. I like him better than Bentley. He's a better pass coverage linebacker than Bentley. So I still feel like it's an upgrade. I don't think it's a huge upgrade, but yeah, I get him as my number 7.
Oh man, the absolute disrespect for Spillane. Spillane's probably going to be our best linebacker this year, and
Oh,
he
he is.
needs he
He
needs
is.
to be our best linebacker this year. So I don't know how you have him all the way down at 7, but
All right.
so my
Well,
number
who do you
7,
got?
I got Matt Collins. Matt Collins is going to come up number 7. I mean, we've already talked about him a bit. I think he's a wild card. He's coming into like the best scenario for him off of a pretty good season, coming back to the offensive coordinator that got the most out of him in, just on the edge of his prime at 31. I don't know. Matt Collins is going to be my number 7.
30 catches, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's Matt Collins. But anyway,
That's that's
your
like
opinion.
top 2, top 3 wide receivers on our teams the last few years if he does that.
No, the last few years, but we're going to be better this year. Okay, especially with Drake May taking the second year jump.
He would be the
My
third
number
best wide
6.
receiver last year, by the way, with those numbers. Just saying.
Yeah, I bet. Well, those days are behind us. So
With the
my
most
number 6.
touchdowns out of any of our wide receivers as well. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, they were trash. Me and you played wide receiver last year for the
Yeah.
Patriots. All right.
Wait.
Number
Wait.
6
I
for
think his
me.
wait.
Oh,
I think his role in the defense as being a cleanup guy and making sure nothing busts out. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he's a super smart player. Jamie, do you agree with my dad? Would you have him all the way down at 7 on the ranking of the free agents? Is there anybody you would have put? I mean, from importance, I feel like we have to hit on Spillane. Spillane's a super important free agent signing.
yeah. Well, we'll see. And Jamie, chime in there. Let me know. My number 6 guy is Landry, Harold Landry. Really good against the run. How many? I mean, oh my God, giving up the edge on run plays last year. The Patriots just got gouged constantly. That
Well,
will come
Duggar.
to an end. Harold Landry is an excellent, excellent setting the edge run stopper, outside linebacker. And now that he has Vrabel back as his coach, let's see if he can get, back to double digit sacks, which I think he can with Barmore and Williams putting vast pressure up the middle. Quarterbacks are going to be getting flushed and running right into Landry. So, I have him my number 6 guy ahead of Spillane.
Yeah. No, I get it. So I think at this point, it's going to be Spillane. I'm sorry, it's going to be Landry. Have I said? I said Bradbury 9, Tonga, Bradbury, Chasem, Hollins, and Landry. Oh yeah, so Landry's my number 6 guy in rank of importance. Again, like kind of a dime a dozen. No, not like a super special talent. And I feel like our depth on our defensive line is so large that it's really hard for us to need him to be too much, as long as the other guys keep progressing. So,
Okay. All right. So, real quick, here he is, my Tonga guy. Patriots were absolutely dreadful against the run last year. Disgusting. And he is technically him. Farmer is kind of the same, but after Tonga is the only guy you have that is a 2-gap, stop, take on a double team, and hold them up against the run. And let me tell you, we were getting gashed by the run last year. He's like the only guy on the team that can handle that responsibility. So we need him to be good. That's
hey,
important. We can't be giving up 5 yards a carry like we did last year. So, I mean, Farmer's the next guy. So that's why I have Tonga so high. The running game isn't as important as it used to be, but you still need to stop it. Otherwise, you just get, run over like they did last year simply. Who's your
Jeff,
spot?
I'm sorry, Jeff. My dad didn't read that because his eyes were just like watered over talking about Tonga. He was just seeing red talking about Tonga. Guys, can you say hi to my friend Boston Joe? He tuned in tonight. Boston Joe, thank you for tuning in, man. Gotta love anybody
Boston
who's
Joe.
a fan of the City of Champions. So what's up, Boston Joe? Hopefully you can see you back. Boston Joe, if you're in here in the chat, let us know which of the 4 Boston teams are your favorite. Be really curious to hear from you. You a big Patriots guy, Celtics, Bruins. Are you all for Red Sox? We're getting shelled right now. Came out of the All-Star break flat. We won't talk about them too much. But hey, Jeff, thanks for getting us on to Boston Joe. Boston Joe, thanks for any time you spent watching us. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate anybody who takes the time to watch us.
It.
Especially Jeff. Jeff, I love you, man. I'd have a tough time listening to 45 minutes of the Lions talk. I would probably do it, especially since they're a bit more exciting than Patriots. But here you are listening to a team that's probably going to go like 4-15 next year, some garbage, and you're cheering us on. We appreciate you, Jeff. Don't never forget we appreciate you.
Trooper.
Yeah. All right.
Trooper.
So
who do you got at 5?
So my number 5, and this again is important. Like if he doesn't hit, this is very bad for us. My number 5 is going to be Carlton Davis. So we have, I think, a good amount of depth in the wide receiver core. I'm sorry, defensive back core. So I do want him to hit. I think he has a very high ceiling for us. I think he can be very impactful. But if he doesn't hit, it's not as big of a deal as some of the names left on my list. So sticking to the importance part of it, I'm going to say Carlton Davis.
All right. Number 4 is actually for me, Carlton Davis. And, I'm not crazy about going from him down to Austin. But like you said, we still got Marcus Jones as the slot cornerback. I think we can get by with Austin. Hopefully Davis, for the first time in his career, is healthy all year. So, but man, when he's on and he's good, he is a poor man's number 1 corner. So if you can have that across from Christian Gonzalez, that's pretty damn good.
Think of this, the list of players at 10, 9, 8, 7 weren't NFL players. Dang. So I don't know if you're saying that you might think they might even get cut and they might not even end up on a team, Jamie, or what. But I mean, down at the bottom, I wouldn't be too surprised if some of these guys don't end up on the team, or 1 or 2 of these guys don't end up on the team, depending on how good everybody else is playing. And like, my dad said, the team's a lot better this year. Last year, we couldn't even fill out a 53-man roster. We were like, this team sucks so bad. Like we wanted to cut so much. Oh yeah. And this year, I think it's going to be much more competitive. I think the filling up the roster is going to be harder. It's not going to be as hard as it was when Brady was here, because it was super hard back then, but no, I think it's definitely a different year, a different group of people for last year. I think of last year. You said Carlton Davis is your number 4. My number 4 is going to be Robert Spillane. And again, this goes back to depth and importance. I think Robert Spillane needs to be our best linebacker for the next few years. If we're going to have a linebacker out there, I'm hoping it's him. I'm hoping he brings some leadership, some play calling to that defense. So stability, tackling, a good level of tackling, reliable tackling. And I think that was one of the things we sucked so bad at last year. I think people forget, or maybe they don't forget. It felt like we were the worst tackling team in the NFL. So if Spillane can come in, and when he gets hands on a guy, 19 times out of 20, he brings them down, I'll be very happy. Right. So that's where I'm going to put Spillane.
Yeah, leadership, and we don't have another good middle linebacker after him. So you might be right on that one. I might have dropped the ball a little bit with number 7. Yeah. That might be a little too low.
Wait. We got Scott Johnson. Wouldn't be shocked if Polk doesn't make the cut. Scott, you got to be careful. Jamie's in here. He's got a Polk love affair. Scott, we did talk about Polk a little bit. How much of a dope do you think he is for not showing up to camp, Scott? Do you think he's going to end up on the PUP? Is that what the play is? I mean, talk about a guy fighting for position. So it's kind of crazy to see him not show up, I think, at one of the biggest job interviews of his life with a new coach.
Well, Matt, he showed up today. He was just in like a yellow jersey and didn't really participate. He didn't participate. To me, that's the problem. Like, dude, you have a shoulder injury and you're just running today. You can't like get out there and suck it up and like I don't get that. Polk, I don't see him and Baker making the team. It's as simple as that, you know. But we'll have all, you know, we talked about that earlier, Scott, and we'll have all training camp to discuss it. You know, we'll see what happens when the pads go on and these games start. So let's see. Number 3, Morgan Moses. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. The offensive line play, particularly tackles last year, were dreadful. And Morgan Moses, we need him to be good. So hopefully that shirtless scene in Fortune Foxborough is just me overreacting a little bit at how large he and out of shape he was. And you know, he's a veteran. He's probably bored today. So, you know, hopefully he's as solid as he has been, because that is a huge, huge need for us. And so he's my number 3 free agent as far as importance goes.
That's just crazy. I think you need to look up the definition of importance, Dad. Like, there's no way Morgan Moses is less important. His success is less important than Milton Williams. I mean, Milton Williams, right? Like, if he comes in and he's not that successful, it does suck from a contracts perspective, but we still have Barmore, right? There's somebody to come in and I think be disruptive. Moses has to hit. We need Moses to be an anchor on the right side of that line. It's so important. We have nobody else that can come in and be even remotely what Barmore would be for Milton Williams, right? Like, we need
Oh,
Morgan
is that
Moses
your
to
number
hit.
3?
That's no, oh wait, my number 3? Oh no, my number 3 is Milton Williams. My number 3 is Milton Williams. I'm calling
Okay.
you crazy for saying Morgan Moses at number 3.
Okay. All right. That's fine. And so number 3, Morgan Moses. I mean, Milton Williams. I mean, you
Yes.
want to tell us why is your number 3?
Well, I think
That's
it's
your
the
number 2.
redundancy, right? It's about the fact that we can reproduce what Milton does or get closer to what Milton does with the roster we have, than when we can with anybody else above him, right? I think we have a Barmore, which is like, I would say, when he's fully healthy, hopefully 85%, 80% of what Milton Williams can be. I think the drop off from these next two guys as we're getting into the 1-2s is so much more when it comes to their ceiling. I think the ceiling of Moses compared to the ceiling of, I forget what the frick the guy's name is that came in relief of him today as Moses sat out, and the ceiling of Diggs to Demario Douglas, I think, is just so different. Oh, Demontre Jacobs, like, I think the gap there is so much, and that's why I would rank the importance of Milton Williams a bit higher.
All right. So my number
Wait,
2.
wait. Before you do number 2, Marcus Bryant and Caden Wallace battle for swing tackle. I like both. Marcus Bryant. What was the name of the
Oh,
defensive back, Bryant?
well, let's get into that because Jamie, I want to talk about Marcus Bryant in the draft portion that's coming up next. We'll get into that next. So, because I got some things to say about him. Number 2 for me. Who do you think it is?
Number 2, it's going to be Milton
Yeah,
Williams.
wrong. Eh. Number
Where?
2
What?
is Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is the second most important guy for obvious reasons. We need a number 1 wide receiver. We need him to get back to that level he used to be. And I just think with Pop Douglas taking that 3rd year jump and possibly being better than Diggs, which is my like
That's
kind of
your hot take.
sneaky prediction. That's my hot take. And Kyle Williams, you know, if he is the real deal, if he is like a poor man's Tyreek Hill, I just think Stephon Diggs is my number 2, and I'll give you my reasons why Milton Williams is number 1. But what? So your number 2 is obviously
It's my number 2. So before I say number 2, Joe says he's a Patriots fan, Patriots fan, and Celtics second. Doesn't really follow hockey or baseball. Perfect time, Joe, to get in on the Patriots. Exciting time. I don't know how you
yeah.
feel about this team, but there's a lot to be excited about. I mean, this is the first time in years we've had a list of 10 free agents that I think we're pretty excited about. So my number 2 is going to be Morgan Moses. I think,
Okay.
again, super important to see him succeed. I went on and on about him. He's got to hit. So Morgan Moses is my number 2. And then, of course,
All right.
I'm really curious why
Number
the
one,
heck you think Milton
the
Williams is
most
number one.
important. I got some great reasons. Don't you worry about it. Milton Williams, number one. And these reasons are not in a particular order, but they're all super important. So the first one, not in this order, is he's the highest paid Patriot in the history of the franchise. If we do not want Vrabel to be gun shy about spending big bucks on potential free agents, we need him to hit. If he
It's a
is
good reason.
not even a bust, if he's just average, good luck convincing Kraft and Vrabel to spend like this on a potential free agent down the road. We need Milton Williams. We need this investment to hit. So that way, oh, look at we spent big bucks on this guy. He's making a big impact on the field, and he was worth the money. All right. So next, oh, we got some cap space. Here's another big impact guy at a different position, maybe wide receiver. It worked out with Milton Williams giving him the mammoth contract. Let's bring this guy in. I think it's ramifications on the future if this guy isn't awesome. Even if he's just okay, that's a disaster. But the other reason why is nothing ruins a game for the other team than two defensive tackles who get pushed up the middle. How did the Patriots lose both of those freaking Super Bowls to the Giants? It was from pressure up the middle. If Williams is just average or he's not the person we think he is, Barmore is going to be stuck doing it by himself. And guess what they're going to do with Barmore, other teams? They're going to double him. We need both of them to be awesome. We need both Barmore and Williams to be awesome because you can't double both. And we need them to wreck games up the middle. No quarterback wants pressure in their face. They'll take pressure any day of the week coming off the edges over in their face. So Milton Williams, from a future standpoint, we need him to hit. So we spend money on future big name
Okay.
free agents, and we need him and Barmore to be dominant together.
Yep. No, and again, this is like splitting hairs, 1 and 2. Completely agree. I think you make some good points about Milton Williams. First time you made good points at any point in this list, so I do appreciate it. Just took you 9 other picks. Number one, I think, is Diggs from an important standpoint. I mean, if he is at his ceiling, if he can get to 90% of what he was last year, this is going to be so much more fun of a team to watch, and I think it's going to give Drake May an opportunity to really shine. And from a adding standpoint, I don't know the last time we've added this level of wide receiver ceiling of a talent. I know Antonio Brown came in, but historically the Patriots have not gone out and signed guys like Stephon Diggs. So in a similar fashion, him being successful will hopefully allow for us to go out and pay some of these skill position players a bit more, get more people in. So yeah, no, that's a good list. I don't think either of us are too crazy. I think not bad, not bad. So listen, we're was it 58 minutes in already?
Oh,
Sheesh.
holy
So
cow.
do you want to
We got to
save
speed
the
this up.
draft and maybe we do another show next week, or do you want to try and do the draft right now?
Hmm. Ah, I don't know. Your call, young bulls. Do we have any of
Uh,
our listeners out there still?
no, we only got 3 people right now. I mean, the viewers are down. I'm probably at least one of them. So I think we should probably save it, and not have to
Right.
rush through the segment.
Yeah, we'll save our draft. We'll have another show maybe next week or before or after the preseason game or something like that. We'll give you our draft grades. I like that.
Another day of training camp tomorrow. Another day refreshing Twitter. I'm excited for it. Bring it on. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Thanks, Jeff, Scott, Jamie, Joe. Appreciate you guys. It was good seeing you guys pop up in the chat. We'll try and
Absolutely.
be back
Good to be
sometime next
back.
week.
Yeah, hopefully our boys give us something to follow this year because
Pats
man, the
camp is
Bruins and
back.
Celtics. That's right, Scott. That's it. And I think they're going to be good this year. That's just not. I mean, that's not me just being over optimistic. I really do. They're going to be good.
Yep. So hope everybody has a good rest of their week. Enjoys this really hot day coming up for you people in Massachusetts. About to be a scorcher. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll catch you. Joe and I are here. What's up, Joe? What's up, Jeff? I know you guys are here. We're not going to bore you with another 30 minutes of draft talk. We'll save it for another time because I think there is a lot to talk about with this draft, and we really haven't given it much time a day. So hope you guys have a good rest of your night. And Jeff, keep enjoying your teacher summer. You deserve it, man. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. See you then.